Hey there, this is Bilal from Swiss Edit. I hope you guys are having a brilliant day. So in this tutorial, we will learn how to apply a cool looking texture on background walls of your images. And after that, I will show you how you can create your custom textures and you can save them for your future projects. So without any further ado, let's get started. So first, when you open your image in Photoshop like this one, as you can see, the background layer is now locked. And you can simply click on this lock icon to unlock the layer. We need to apply a texture on this background wall, as you can see. For that, we need to first separate the subject from the background. In this case, this is very easy because the background is like totally white color, and this is very easy for me. So first, I will make this layer as a smart object. So next thing, we need to select the subject, and there are way too many ways to select the subject. The most efficient and precise method is to use a pen tool. You see this pen tool? You can create paths and you can create the path of your subject and you can cut it out. The second and the easiest method is by this one. The quick selection tool. You can just literally paint over your subject and you can make a selection out of your subject. Okay, so the trick I use by going to the select menu and choosing this option, the subject. Now this will allow the Photoshop to automatically detect the subject in this image and create a selection of it. And this works most of the time because I am using the latest version of Photoshop. If you are using the previous version or the older versions, this might not work for you. So you would have to go with the pen tool, okay? If you want to make your selection very precise. So the selection is done now. I use is the mask option. Just click on it and the background is now separated. So I use mask all the time because I love this thing. And what is a mask? How do we use it? How it works? And what are the alternatives of this thing? I will make a separate detailed in-depth tutorial on that topic as well. But for this one, our subject is now separated and the background is removed. Okay, so now let's create a new layer on top of this one. Okay, so first we need to paint this layer with this white color. Okay, so the shortcut to apply the foreground color to any layer, just hold the Alt key on your keyboard and press the backspace like this. The foreground color, whatever the color is, this will totally fill up the layer you have selected on this right side. Okay, so the color is now applied and now we need to go to the brush tool. Okay, so the trick is how to create custom textures. Let's change the blend mode to difference. So the foreground color is white and our image color is also white. If we apply the white color on white, this will create the difference, and the difference of white and white is black. And look, whenever you apply more of the times, this will create a cool looking texture. And not only that, you can later on fill up these gaps with custom colors of your choice. But I am just showing you how the blend mode called difference works. Okay, so now we learned how to create textures. We can use different brushes, different brush techniques to create different kind of textures. Okay, right now I'm using the soft round brush in general brushes. You can see here. This is a soft round brush with the hardness of 0%. Let's delete this layer and create a new layer on top of this. Let's fill it up with the foreground color by holding the Alt key and backspace like this. Alright, so let's use a different brush. And I am going with the Ultimate Pencil Hard. So now let's increase the size of the brush. Okay, so nothing is working because the blend mode is set to normal. Let's change it to difference and now there you go. Look at that. How cool different kind of texture you can make. With this technique, you can't even imagine how many textures you can make by your own. Alright, so let's fill this whole layer with this brush and let's see how the texture will look like. Okay, so I'm done creating the texture. Now drag this layer to the bottom of this original layer. Look how cool this is looking, right? Okay, so now we need to match the subject with the background. Okay, so the first thing you can see, the brightness of this subject is way much higher. So let's decrease the brightness of this subject. I'm using a curves adjustment layer, clipping mask, and let's bring down the brightness. Make sure the subject brightness is matching with the background brightness, okay? To make the image look more real, okay? So that's why we're doing this. Okay, so the brightness is now matched, and next thing we need to add a shadow because this guy is standing in front of the wall. Right click on it and go to blending options. So now we need to add a drop shadow. Let's reset this to default. The blend mode is selected to multiply. The angle is at 30%. Let's increase the distance of drop shadow to see what are we doing on this image. Let's increase the opacity to 100%. Okay, so the distance you can see. Okay, so the drop shadow needs to be applied at the same angle which the light is hitting on the subject. In this case, the light is hitting directly from the front side of this guy. Maybe I should go for 30 and decrease the opacity a bit. First increase the size to make it smoother. Let's decrease the opacity to something like, let's go for 65. If I turn off the drop shadow, here's the before and here's the after. So the brightness value is looking good, but we need to make this even more realistic. Like this guy was actually standing in front of that kind of a wall. So let's create a curves adjustment layer and I'm gonna decrease the shadows and increase the highlights. You can also do this. By the way, the S curve works most of the times for images and I love it. Okay, so here's the before, not matching kind of with the background, right? And here's the after, much better now. Now let's see how to save this texture for later purposes. Okay, so first hide these things and select the layer which has the texture. Hold the control key on your keyboard and click on the thumbnail of this layer to select this layer. Like this. Now go to the edit options and click on define pattern. And you can name whatever you want. Click OK. Now how to apply a pattern to any image. Let's disable this image and create a new layer. Okay, so now we need to apply that pattern which we saved. Go to the edit menu and click on this fill option. You can also press shift plus function 5 key on the keyboard to open up the fill option. Okay, so we need to fill the pattern. Make sure the pattern is selected. Click on this drop down arrow and on the bottom you can see this is the pattern we created. Alright, make sure the blend mode is normal, opacity is at 100% and hit OK. And there you go. Now you can use this pattern anytime, anywhere, in any image. Alright, so that's it. I hope you found this video helpful. So if you like the video, make sure to subscribe to the channel. I will see you in the next video. Till then, take care of yourselves. Bye bye.